Well, hello everybody, and on this rather chilly evening here in the south of the UK, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome back to the poetry of painting. This week we've got something a little bit different for you, which is absolutely superb. This is actually going to be a show that I recorded on Sunday with Skylar J Wynter, who's in Australia. So at the moment, at this time, for us, it's quite nice in the evening, but for Skylar, it's something silly o'clock in the morning. So we did a recording of the show, but something a little bit special about this one. So it's Skylar and her friend Alex, who's going to be featuring on the show as well. And Skylar has written a poem about my painting Catching the Light, which is shown in the background behind me. I don't have the original here because it's now in its forever home, which is wonderful. But it was oils on canvas and 40 by 30 centimeters were the dimensions. So really pleased that Skylar created another one of her beautiful poems about one of my paintings. So I'm going to show you the video. My apologies for not having a show last week. I forgot to mention the week before that I wouldn't be doing one last week. We had family vacation, but we're back again tonight. So let me put this video on the screen. Please do make comments and ask questions. I will be picking up comments during the broadcast tonight, so I will be answering you. And if you've got any comments or questions for Skylar, she will obviously answer those once she picks up the recording at some sensible time for her in Australia. So let me just bring the recording on and set it going. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi Skylar. Hi Alex. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Great, thanks.
Good. Great to have you back on the show, Skylar. It's been way too long, and I know it's for very good reason because you've been so busy. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your tour and everything? Because it was absolutely amazing. Sadly, I didn't get to see one of your shows, which was a real downer for me, but we did get to meet in person, which was brilliant. So
yes, yeah, meeting in person. I mean, yes. It's really strange because when I got back from the tour, I had to head straight back into work. So I feel like I haven't actually spoken about the tour to anyone here at home. I haven't really processed it. I have barely looked at any of the performance videos or anything because I don't really like watching myself anyway. So it feels like it's this thing, like we're now in March and it's like this thing that happened in another lifetime. But yeah, the tour went really, really well. The highlight for me and the whole reason that I actually came was so that I could meet people like yourself and others who I've met on Zoom during the whole COVID period in real life, and I got to do that. So that was just a really, really great situation and scenario. It all kind of unfolded, yeah, exactly how I'd hoped.
I have your wonderful book that was also part of the tour as well, promoting your book that Neshka did the amazing artwork for, and Neshka was with you, of course. I met her as well, which was just absolutely fantastic. So brilliant. Well, you must start telling people about it because it was just such a fantastic thing. So
yeah, I think it's that thing though, isn't it? Like, you know, when people go away on holiday and then they come back and they want to show you all their photos, and it's just like, you know, you're just like, yeah. And because you weren't there in person with them, it's kind of doesn't have a lot of meaning. And yeah, so, and yeah, that part of my life is kind of very separate to, you know, my working life and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's just a very strange sort of situation to be in. But yeah, it happened. It was great. I got to meet everyone I wanted to meet, and so yeah.
And hopefully there'll be another one as well, and I will actually get to one of your shows, which will be fantastic. Yeah. So I did see some of it obviously on social media, and that I was following it on there, but not the same as being there. So sorry I didn't get to a show, but next time.
Okay. That's totally fine. I know life gets in the way sometimes of what we want to do. So, you know, and I never had any expectations. The great thing for me was that I'm so glad that we got to meet and have a meal together and chat. And so that's,
brilliant. Okay. So this week, folks, as normal, my guest poet has written a poem about one of my paintings, which is on the wall virtually behind me, called Catching the Light. It's oils on canvas, painted with knives as normal. And it was actually quite a small one, this one. I think it was 40 by 30 centimeters. So not one of my larger paintings, but and it's now in its forever home. So I don't have it here to show you in person. But what we do have is a wonderful poem by Skylar about this painting. And for something different this time, Alex, who you can see sitting next to Skylar, has done the music for it. So what I'm going to do is to play you a recording that Skylar has made for us of her reading the poem with Alex's flute music in the background. And it's just so beautiful. It really is. It's haunting and gorgeous. So is there anything you wanted to say first, Skylar, or shall I get on and share the screen for that?
Yeah, I think you should share it for sure. But I want to say that like Alex did all the hard work as far as like playing the music and then recording it and then recording my voice and then putting it all together, because he's the genius with that kind of technology. So yeah, it really had very little to do with me. I just kind of wrote some words down.
Oh yeah, you just
I really emphasize on keeping it simple as well.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, we wanted to keep it
one
very
take.
raw.
Everything is one take.
Yeah.
Minimal engineering, and yeah.
Excellent.
Okay,
Okay,
you're about to listen to.
well, let me share this, folks. You're in for a real treat. So here it goes. I'm going to start the playing now.
We aren't getting the sound, Fiona.
Oh, you're not? Oh my, sorry. Right,
That's
let me,
okay.
I do apologize for that. Let me do the sound. Right.
At River's Bend, dappled rays make sluggish water glisten, and render onyx black of inky depths fractured but not broken by colour ricocheting from shattered light's reflection, of muted greens from all the trees, standing, never silent, to attention, waiting for the moment tilted earth and sun unite, transforming branches dark in shadow to vibrant in the light. Smoke-filled sky does its best to hide the rays of an autumn sun, but light will always find a way, a path of least resistance, to deliver us from doom and gloom, from listless and indifference. My soul will never tire of being mended of its broken by such an incandescent sight. A quiet moment, a landscape, a catching of the light.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Skylar. Let me just
Thank you for painting such a beautiful picture.
And thank you, Alex, for the amazing haunting music that went with it. So absolutely brilliant, and putting it all together as well. So brilliant.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Sorry about the sound. It's yeah, this was a little new venture, showing a video on Zoom for me. So but we got there in the end. These little things are just sent to try us.
Yeah, I just love how I was saying to Alex before, like, you just calmly work things out and just put it all together, and it's like, it's not a bother or whatever. And I'd be like, oh my God, like,
I think I'm probably like the swan. Yes, I'm all serene and calm, but underneath you haven't seen what my feet are doing.
Well, that's good. I feel better now. I feel more human. It's all good.
It's all the outward appearance. Just keep calm, but panic inside.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So Alex, how did you come up with the music? It's just gorgeous. It's you obviously play the flute, and do you play other instruments as well? And sorry, asking you multiple questions.
Yeah. I've been playing the Japanese Zen flute, so they call it a shakuhachi, since 2010, and I've really focused on just improvising instead of learning in a regimented way. So I just play with what I feel coming through at the time. And last night, I think you showed me Fiona's picture, and I just looked at it, and 3 words came to my mind, and that's silence, serenity, and eeriness, which is very cool because the shakuhachi is a very eerie sounding flute. And I just walked into the recording room and just hit record, and 1 take, and that's what came through. Yeah.
Brilliant. And in 1 take as well. That's just fantastic.
Yeah. And also Skylar, she had a few lines written for her poem, and she did add to it later. But yeah, she spoke a few words, and I looked at your painting, your piece, and that was it. Just went from there, and came up with.
So that's our first collaboration. We've been talking about collaborating, but we've also been having all this conversation about whatever we did, because both of us have this we're both perfectionists, and so the concern was that if we collaborated, we'd put so much effort into making every little sound and every little word perfect that actually we would lose what we were trying to create. So we were just like, so we'd kind of both spoken about this idea of collaborating, and then it was like, okay, well, we'll just let it go, and when something's meant to happen, it will. And last night magically it all just came together. So
and it's sometimes
this is the first of many collaborations. It's really inspired me.
No, I never want to work with you again.
No, too bad.
It's getting it how you want it, and trying not to be a perfectionist, but keeping that spontaneity and that energy from not having it too perfect and practiced, over practiced, and done to death sort of thing, isn't it? But it works really well. So I'm looking forward to you coming back on the show again, Skylar, with Alex and some more music.
Yes. Well, as I said to you before, this beautiful picture, which I wrote a poem for, Clouds Over Pegwell Bay, and then I got to come to the UK and get it off of you. I am hoping that Alex will possibly come up with something beautiful for that, because that was one of my very favourite pieces.
I recognise it straight away. It's the first time I've been in Skylar's office. And hey, I know that style.
Thank you. It's lovely when
very inspiring.
When a friend as well loves the work that much that they actually want it, so that's brilliant. It was my utmost pleasure delivering that painting to you, Skylar.
I'm so glad I got it home unbroken, because it had to travel for 5 weeks with me in my suitcase, and every time I packed I was just like, but it's done really well.
It's a good job actually, because that one's on board rather than a stretched canvas, which would have been far more susceptible to possible damage without putting a lot of weight on it, putting board back and front. And then obviously with flying and being over here so long, you didn't need that extra weight. So luckily it was on board, that one. So have you got any more collaborations planned at the minute, apart from Clouds Over Pegwell Bay?
No, not really. Like I say, I've been this year is a bit of a it's kind of like a gap year for me, because I have a lot of stuff going on personally and in my work life, where I very much feel that I need to just have my focus on that. And then hopefully I will come out the other end ready to start creating again. Neshka and I so there's a 3rd book written, and now I've just said to Neshka, just take the year whilst I'm doing this other stuff, take the year to do the artwork or whatever, and we'll kind of reconvene early next year and see where we're at with it. And it would be really lovely to bring out all 3 of the books in a box set. I'm a bit of a fan of box sets, so I'd really love to see that happen. So yeah, so that's and then just like what I've done with Shine, having some QR codes in the back with some of the spoken pieces. If this lovely human manages to write some beautiful music for some of them, then we'll do the same thing, have QR codes in each of the books. So that there's, because I just, it was always kind of my dream and my kind of desire always was that anything that I wrote always became this layered piece of art that, you know, involved the visual, the auditory and the written word. So hopefully that's what we're kind of working towards. But
It's
no pressure.
Absolutely brilliant
pressure.
idea. Yeah, the QR codes in the back, absolutely brilliant idea, because it makes it so easy, you know, and I know how you read your poetry, you know, you've got such a distinct style and I've heard you, but it's still lovely, you know, I can hear you as I read the poetry, but it's still lovely to actually hear you actually read it as well. So no, brilliant. So do put in the comments after the show goes out links for your book and everything as well, won't you, Skylar? Because it is, I can speak from first-hand knowledge of my copy of the book. It is a fantastic book, absolutely beautiful. So, and you get the QR codes in the back as well, which is a fantastic idea. So I wish I'd copied that one for my book.
That's all right. You can do a reprint and you can do the same thing. It's like, you know, I don't own that idea. You're very welcome to use it. I think it's really, I think it's very cool. Like you say, and I think with spoken word as well, like there is some poetry that actually just needs to be on the page and read internally, but a lot of what I write is they are performance pieces, and so it made sense that people could tune into that.
Absolutely. No, it's brilliant. And can people access those on your website as well, or do they need the QR code from the book to be able to access them?
You have to own a copy of the book to be able to yes, the QR codes take you to a hidden page on my website. So so the only way of being able to get there is to have a copy of the book and be able to scan the QR codes. So
get out there, folks, and order your copy.
So buy a book.
It is a superb book. It really is. What I'm hoping this year off can be maybe have a little bit of a break at least one point for doing another show with me, Skylar, I hope.
Absolutely. I'm always up for talking to you, Fiona. You're like one of my favorite people. So yes, if you invite me, I will turn up.
Right. In that case, folks, we are in for another treat when Skylar comes back on the show, because and also don't forget that all the shows recordings are on my YouTube channel, so you can go on there and also check out Skylar's other appearances on the shows. So so no more poetry events this year. You definitely
look, I'm not saying there's no more poetry events, because there's always Perth Slam, which is an amazing event on the last Saturday of every month. So, you know, if words land, if something happens and I write something that I think is worthy of being performed live, I will definitely go do it. I'm sort of not saying never, but I do recognise that I'm very depleted, and so creatively, I've spread myself very thin for the last kind of 2 years, and right now I just need to get certain things in order so that my life then can look exactly how I want it to look.
And also when you are, you know, depleted, as you say, which is a great way of putting it, you know, the creativity just isn't there. It doesn't flow. So then it becomes more of a struggle, and then you don't enjoy it so much. And what's the point if you're not enjoying it, to be honest? You know, I think you've got to be in the right mindset. You've got to have your heart and soul in it. Otherwise it's going to come through and it'll show that it's not done with the same, you know, depth of feeling as you normally would have, whether that's poetry, music, painting, whatever. So so Alex, sorry, I asked you another question and then sort of, you know, bombarded you with questions. So do you play other instruments as well?
Yeah, so I come from a background of like DJing and music production, making underground rave music. So not many like such as jungle drum and bass. So not many people from that scene know my Zen flute side. This is a very personal side of me, and I haven't shared much of it with the public. So very, very different to what I've done in the past. But
I think you need to share more of it. It was beautiful.
Because it's so difficult to play this flute that it's taken me this long to actually feel confident to play in public, because you really notice every bit of like anxiousness that comes through. Like it just comes through in the breath. And
what does it look like? A normal flute, or
it's a bamboo end blown flute. I was saying before, I forgot to bring it with me. I should have brought it with me. So it's a root end bamboo flute.
And it's played forward like a recorder.
Yeah, end blown.
It's blown, but you blow through it like you would a flute, and like across the whole. So.
Yeah.
Maybe you could send a photograph and I can post it. Once the show's out. That would be great. I mean, if you can do that. In fact, I might even put it in at the end of the show recording so that people can see it. So listen to the end of the recording, folks, to be able to see what the flute looks like. So but it is a very distinctive sound, isn't it? It's got like an earthiness to it, and as you say, it's haunting, and eerie. So
I started off when I first started playing flutes. I started with a Native American flute, and I started collecting flutes from all over the world. And I got to the shakuhachi, and I never picked up another flute again. I just realized this is the one for me. It just spoke to me, and I
think you play the mouth harp, don't you? Jaw harp.
Jaw harp. Yeah. My rhythm's a bit off, and sometimes I miss the thing, the twangy thing.
The twangy thing. love your words.
Very technical.
So that
we're all about technical language here. We use a lot of things and twangy bits and that thing you write with.
I dabble with lots of instruments, but the shakuhachi is my love.
So is that a new direction for your musical career now?
Yes.
Well, you could always maybe, just combine it with, your other, like, just introduce it. And
I have, maybe I can send you a link. I actually made a drum and bass tune with the shakuhachi in it and some other sacred instruments.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely.
So I have,
after the show goes out, put a link in the comments so that people can get to hear it. That'd be great. I'd love to hear that. It just sounds really
very much downplaying his talent. Like he's amazing. He just will pick this flute up and just walk around the house playing it, and then he's got bells and all sorts of things going on, and it's amazing. He's not bragging at all enough. So I'll just brag for you.
I think it's always easier to brag for somebody else than it is to brag for yourself. I find that, I find it's much easier for me to extol the virtues of someone else's paintings than to do it about mine. I think it's just the way that, I was brought up. You don't want to appear big-headed. You don't want to appear, sort of like the big I am, and so it's far easier to big up someone else's creativity than it is our own.
Well, it's so hard to write your own bio.
And it doesn't help us with promoting ourselves, because if we don't promote ourselves, unless we pay someone else to do it, we probably won't be promoted at all. And you really got to get over that hump of appearing to be, you know, too, well, I say big-headed or too confident or whatever, because if you don't do it, other people aren't going to do it for you normally.
Yeah.
And it is,
That's the
I
beauty
think,
of collaborating. You can just talk each other up and it's all good.
yeah, absolutely. You know, and I talk about your wonderful poetry, and you say lovely things about my art, and you know, it is just easier, I think, to sell somebody else rather than sell myself. And from the artists that I've talked to, I think it's just a very common theme, you know, that most of us don't take to that very easily, and it's something that we have to keep practicing at and training ourselves to do it. Otherwise we just sit in a corner and keep painting and nobody knows, you know, and what's the point of that, you know, or sitting in a corner writing your poetry and nobody ever gets to hear it. I mean, that would just be criminal. So yeah.
So what I want to know, Fiona, is this whole show started and you were doing a poem and the poet was doing a poem. Have you written any poetry lately?
I haven't. I have to confess. I've just been so busy. And then with the book as well, that took quite a lot of time, as you would know, obviously, Skylar. So I just decided I would take a break from it. And a bit like you say never. I may come back to it and do some more, but at the moment, you know, people have been saying, when's the next book coming out? So it would be lovely to do another book and raise more money for charity as well, if I can, because that's the charity that it's supporting is Alzheimer's Research UK, which is a subject very close to my heart and the hearts of lots of my friends as well. But if when not if to me, when that happens, it will be my art and other poets' poetry. And so that does mean that for some of the paintings that have already been poemed, I will be needing to get poets to do a second poem rather than me doing one of the poems. So there'll still be the art and two different poetic views of that painting. So I think that could work really well actually as well. So it'll be slightly different, and then we'll take it from there. But 5 more shows and it'll be the 100th show.
I know, I was just thinking that because I was on YouTube earlier today to send Alex some links, and I noticed, like, you know, you've gotten up into the 80s, and I was like, oh my gosh, when did that happen?
Well, we're into the 90s now, and it would be really lovely to do something special for the 100th show. So if you've got any ideas, please drop me a line, and if you can be involved in some way, even however small. How about Storm Clouds over Pegwell Bay with music?
That could work.
That would be great if you could do that. Okay. Just and I was thinking of making it more like a compilation type show or something with different bits from you know, and I know the timing for you on a Wednesday evening, my time is just an awful time for you. So if you could do a recording of that, that would be fantastic. So that'd be lovely.
We can work on that.
So we're working towards it.
Yeah, great. We will get to work. So when will have you got like a date that the 100th show will
I'll message you separately on that one.
Perfect.
Yeah. So simply because I don't have it up on my screen at the moment, so I can't tell you.
No, that's fine.
We'll message on that one. Yeah. So all very exciting. You know, I thought I'd probably do maybe, you know, I might do 6, may even do 10, and now we're nearly at show 100. So and thanks to so much to all of my poets, yourself obviously included, and it's just been amazing because I've learned so much, and it was good fun writing the poems, but I just needed that break with so much else going on. So you know, because I was obviously writing one poem every week for the show. So
which was super impressive, because like I think I've not written, apart from this poem that I've just done for this beautiful painting, I haven't written anything new. I've worked on a couple of pieces that I wrote whilst I was actually in the UK, and sort of so I've kind of expanded on those and worked on those, but I wouldn't say I've written anything completely new for about six months now. So
Well, you have now.
it takes a lot. I have now. Yes.
So brilliant. Right. Well, we're almost at the end of our time, unfortunately. It just goes by so quickly, as always. So thank you so much again, Skylar, and also to Alex this time. Brilliant to meet you, and hope to see you again on future shows.
Meet you too.
And thanks everybody for watching as well. And I'll be back next week with another show. So thanks everybody. Take care now, and look for the links underneath
Thanks,
in the
Fiona.
comments.
I love your work.
Take care. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.